citizens and other stakeholders' support for the fight against corruption and bad governance. Excuse me. As part of this program, CENTAL has established the Advocacy and Legal Advice Center known as ELAC. The ELAC is an independent platform that enables citizens to freely report and seek redress of corruption and other integrity-related issues. There are a team of professionals at ELAC who are ready and willing to receive your complaint and provide redress to whatever complaint you may file. Encourage our citizens to visit our offices. CENTAL is located just opposite the John Kennedy Medical Center. You can visit us. We have different services that we render. If you need access to information, we ask that you visit our ELAC team. You want interpretation of the law, visit our ELAC team. We can help you with legal advice. If there are things that you want to follow up on regarding corruption related that you want to report, if you want to report issues about corruption, be it in your office, be it in your community, wherever you find yourself, and you want to report issues about corruption, maybe you want to have an understanding of really what the issues about corruption is. Where do we find corruption? You want to have an understanding about that, visit us. We can help you out to understand what corruption is and how we all can join the fight against corruption. So we also encourage people to contact us via the following means. You have email address. The email address is alac@cental.org.lr. The Facebook address is CENTAL ALAC, is CENTAL. We also have hotline number that you can call to report issues about corruption. Both GMs can call the number. It's a short-coded number that you can call. It's toll-free. It means it's free of charge. When you call, there will be no charges on the call. So the number to call, 4432. 4432. That's a short code number you can call, report issues about corruption. Again, if you have facts and you want to report issues, if you call the number, please have basic facts that can help the team to be able to follow up what you will be reporting. And if you have nothing to report, do not call the number. Again, do not call the number we are announcing on this radio to report issues about corruption and integrity related if you don't have anything relating to these things. If you want to have access to information, like we said, you can also call us and we can help you out. You want legal advice, you can call us also and we can help you out. So the number again is 432 for all GSM companies. So walk-in services, like we said, you can visit us and you can be able to talk about report issues about corruption and seek whatever you may need. The Integrity Watch radio program is very simple and informative. We have zero tolerance on the use of invectives and other denigrating comments. No invective, no denigrating comment on this platform. So today is Wednesday, November the 3rd, 2020, and this edition of the program is featuring the county field officer. So the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia is implementing a 3.5-year project. The program is known as the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program. Under this program, it has county field officers in 7 counties. So the program is implemented in these 7 counties. So today, we're going to be having 4 of the 7 county field officers. So we're going to be getting in touch with them to provide us update about their activities in these counties. So highlight activities from Melvin Swa. Melvin Swa is Nimba County. He is the county field officer in Nimba County. Matthews Davis is the county field officer in Bong County. Newman Wheaton is the county field officer in Bassa County. And Mr. Towan Jensen is county from Montserrado County, Montserrado 1. About their activities. So Towan is here with us in studio. The rest of the team, the rest of the guys are in the field. And also Towan is the coordinator of the county field officers. So out of the rest of the 6 county field officers, they are supervised by Towan Jensen. So he's going to be the one providing us update regarding their activity, his activity in Montserrado, and then generally he's going to talk about updates that he has been receiving from these guys in the field. So before we go, first let us, since he's in studio, let us welcome Towan to studio. Towan, good morning and welcome to studio.
Good morning, Mr. Suta, and good morning to the listening public. It is a pleasure to be on this platform for a second time. And we are very positive of having informed discussion that will help to inform the audience at the same task working in the federal counties.
Thank you. Thank you. That's about Towan Jensen. He's the county field officer and supervisor of the county field officers under CENTAL's National Ability and Correction Program. So before we go back to Towan to begin our program, let us talk about little things that matter. Under little things that matter, we want to draw attention and speak specifically to few issues. One is the rigmarole between the LACC and the Ministry of Justice. LACC and the Ministry of Justice of recent have been trading complaints or cases back and forth. So the LACC forwarded few cases to the Ministry of Justice, and the Ministry of Justice sent those cases back to the LACC with comments. The LACC, in its wisdom, forwarded these cases and asked the Ministry of Justice to proceed with further investigation and or prosecution of these cases. The Ministry of Justice, in return, sent those cases back to the LACC, informing the LACC that the Ministry of Justice, is not clothed with that authority of investigating corruption cases. So some of the cases that were forwarded to the Ministry of Justice by the LACC was the case involving the current vice chair of the LACC. So the current vice chair of the LACC and others, including the port manager of the manager of the National Port Authority, Mr. Bilde, they were all accused of conflicts of interests. So the LACC said they conducted internal investigation into the matter, and they came with their findings. And further, they said for further investigation, they wanted the Ministry of Justice to proceed with the investigation regarding their vice chair. So the Ministry of Justice sent this case back and said, no, it is not our responsibility. You should know what you're supposed to do. So the law provides that the LACC is clothed with the responsibility of investigating all corruption-related cases in Liberia. The LACC is also clothed with that authority of providing awareness to prevent corruption from taking place. So they are responsible to create awareness amongst public so that we can prevent corruption. Corruption prevention is very, very important important. So if we prevent corruption from occurring, we will not go to prosecution. So LACC is clothed with that authority to educate the public about corruption awareness, to create awareness about corruption. So the LACC is also clothed with the authority of prosecuting. So they can investigate, create awareness, and prosecute cases of corruption. So all corruption cases are prosecuted by the Ministry of by the LACC. So LACC, as it stands, the LACC has, or it is not directly clothed with prosecutorial power. So they send the cases to the Ministry of Justice. After investigation, they send the cases to the Ministry of Justice, and the Ministry of Justice proceed with prosecution. The ministry has the LACC can pick up a case to run with it to court after 90 days. If the Ministry of Justice does not prosecute a case after 90 days, the LACC can pick up that case and move to court. So that's the authority the LACC has. So the Ministry of Justice, after the cases are forwarded to the Ministry of Justice does its own, cleaning up and then proceeds to court. So that's it. And then those cases were forwarded and they back and forth. So why are we raising this issue? It is very important because if we must win the fight against corruption in Liberia, those who are in the leadership, who are leading, who are on the front line, they must be able to coordinate properly. If they don't coordinate, it means that we may not win the fight against corruption. If you go to the battlefield and you are not coordinating with the guys who are fighting the war, if you guys who are fighting the war are not coordinating properly, are not communicating with each other, not understanding what's happening in the field, the likelihood is very high for you to be defeated. So if this war against corruption must be won, it means that we all, the Ministry of Justice, and the LACC, and all those who are in the fight against corruption must coordinate properly. We must put our houses in order so that we can be able to face the war head on. So if we don't do that, we will be, digging hole for ourselves, be shooting ourselves in the leg and think that somebody is doing it to us. We will hold ourselves responsible. So as it stands, the LACC should put its house in order so that it can proceed with doing the right things. This time is no time for justification and delays. The country and the people are impatient that people are not being prosecuted when they are accused of corruption, and they continue to hold on to positions that they are accused of corruption in. I mean, these are not signs of integrity. So if we must ensure that the fight against corruption is holistic and sincere, we should not be selective in going forward, or we should not allow mistakes to dominate our work. We should do the right thing and make sure that we move with cases holistically and not being selective of certain cases that we will highlight in other cases, and we try to cover them up. We should not allow these things to be a cover-up tactic that will cause more delay in the fight against corruption. So we must, impede the fight against corruption. Those are things. A hint to a wise will be quite sufficient so that we can move and win the fight against corruption. If we must build or rebuild the trust of the public in the fight against corruption, it means that we are doing the right things, and the public is seeing us doing the right thing. But if we say we are saying something else and we are seeing something to be just and sincere and holistic in prosecuting and or investigating cases of corruption. Thank you. We will stop just at that. The next thing we want to talk about is the issue with Madam Keita. We've been making follow-up with the issue concerning Madam Keita. Madam Makini Keita is the special project coordinator in the office of President George Weah. She was accused of soliciting bribe from bribe. She was allegedly soliciting from an investor. And the president, believed to have taken action. The president asked he suspended her from the press release, suspended her, and asked the legal advisor to begin investigation. When we follow up, we told you that the legal advisor was not in the country when the president asked him to proceed with investigation. When the legal advisor came back, we may follow up. But then, as it stands, from our own investigation, there were not any instance of investigation ongoing in this matter. So we've been following up. But I think we met with the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs, Nathaniel Paulo Magil, and he told us that the matter was sent to the police. I don't know how, why, but he said it was sent to the police. We've been making follow-up with the police. Interestingly, our colleagues are no longer picking our calls. Maybe we are trying to push them so hard, but we will not relent. We've been calling the police. The police they're not responding to us. We asked for the legal advisor's number. We could ask the minister. He said no. Visit the office or ask Smith. Smith, I sent message to Smith. Call Smith. Smith is not picking up either. I'm not even getting either. So, but we will not stop. We will continue to, employ all of our investigative tactics so that we can bring this to your attention, to bring this information to you, because it involves the credibility and integrity of our presidency. So it's very important for us to make sure that we talk about it. Thank you so much. Those are things we wanted to talk about, and we will leave it at that because time is not much in our favor, in fact. So we're going to leave it at that, take a break. When we come back, we join our guests so that we
is a son of Nimba. Currently serve as a county fee officer for CENTAL on the National Integrated Building and Anti-Corruption Program Nimba project that is being funded by the Swedish International Development Agency through the embassy in Monrovia.
Thank you ever so much. So, Melvin, let's begin the discussion. What are the activities that you've been involved with of recent?
Thank you very much. The NIMBAS project itself got to do with creating awareness in the different communities and as well conducting outreaches, especially with the school as well. And under this project, we have been trying to reach out to the people with different messages, especially how we can get them involved with the fight against corruption. And so of recent, especially last week, we visited a community in Electoral District number 1 called Nimba. Nimba is just maybe a kilometer away from the construction of Ganta. And we had a discussion with the students there. They were very, very happy that our CENTAL work that has been done over the years. Their community were being selected as part of the communities that the project will be looking at. And so beside Nimba, we have previously visited a community called Goldenstown. It is also a community within Sanikode. And the same message on how we can get involved with the fight against corruption and also explain to them the latest 2021 state of the corruption report that was also released by CENTAL on how the government and the people of Liberia are looking at the fight against corruption. So all of these things were achieved last week, and we are looking forward to doing more in this week and going forward.
All right, you've been doing all of those so communities that you've visited and the stakeholders that you've been engaging. What are the reception you're receiving from them?
Usually, when we arrive in the communities for engagement, we do formalities of welcome remark among others, and at the end of the program, we solicit views from them. And usually, when we arrive in the community, the people welcome us, and what they can be key about is that at least this time the people communities unlike before where they only they say organization only target people who they call it meeting, they don't go to the people to reach to get a view. So they appreciate CENTAL and the team, especially with this new phenomenon that's been attached to the program that we are going to the community. The citizens continue to express positive feedback. Yes, that at least with the awareness being created in that community, they can also see themselves voluntarily being part of that against corruption because they didn't know. You have information on something. That's the only time you can try to engage other things regarding that situation. But if you don't know anything about, nobody has come to you to give it to you. Or you may hear sometimes the word corruption or report. If nobody has come to explain to you enough, you will not be aware of anything regarding those kind of things. So they express optimism that CENTAL is using new dynamics to reach out to the communities and get the locals involved. So that feedback has been positive from that session.
So are you also informing them about the mechanism through which they can report issues about corruption confidentially? The ELAC number, which is toll free. Are you telling the thinking about using those numbers?
Regularly after our engagement, we also tell them that you have a very free will to corruption, especially when the kings, a particular local leader, you are targeted on this, that we have our legal advice center that is willing to aid any of them who will report the issue of corruption. And we give them the 4 digits star number, the 4 digits only number, and the loan star number to them, which is a 4432 and a 0555-722-113 number. That if he receive observe anything of corruption in our community, we are always available to come to that aid, to make a follow-up, to make sure that we get to the root cause of how those things happen. So they can be overwhelmingly happy and take the number and promise us that from now on, anything they see in our community that is more corruption, they will not have it. Instead, they will report it because they have also voluntarily made that position clear that they want to also join the fight against corruption.
Okay, so except that the 4432 is the number being used by all GSM. So the other number with 555 or 555 is temporarily down. So yes,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so what are those things that you have planned for the weeks and the month ahead?
As we have been engaging with communities, it was because school was not in session. So over the past week, we intensified our engagement with the community, and we hope to do so. But this time around now, we are going to also get involved with the engagement under the high club with schools that we have already selected to be part of our project for this year. So we are thinking of reaching out to 2 schools this week and next week, and they include the St. Nicholas Central High School, which is a modern institution here in St. Nicholas City that has very huge number of population or enrollment. And we are also thinking of reaching out to the Prince US Academy, which is the newer high school here as well. So especially the Prince William Academy, which we added to our school, our project school for this year. This will be our first visitation to them, and we are expecting that there will be a high level of acceptance and acceptance of the program and that involvement in the art club activities to also disseminate the issue of corruption and how they can also help our students to fight corruption in their own way.
Okay, Melvin, in 30 seconds, just greet the people of Nimba so that we take leave of you.
Okay, all of you listening to me this morning on this Integrated Wireless program on True FM, I want to tell you all thank you.
Emmanuel.
I'm coming there. I want to tell you all thank you very much for listening. Mom, we are saying maybe I can sing as soon as I can fool it.
Thank you ever so much. Thank you so much, Izu.
Yes, I really appreciate it. Always one part of this program.
All right. Okay, so you are listening to the program Integrity Watch. It's a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center of Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. So we've been speaking with Melvin Swart. Melvin is a county field officer in Nimba County, and he's been talking about activities he's been undertaking in Nimba County in regards to the implementation of the National Integrity Building and Anti-Corruption Program being implemented by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. So he's talked about the visitation to schools. So talk about the visitation to schools and communities under this program. You have the visitation to schools, which is under the Integrity Club. So Integrity Club brings together young people to create awareness about the issues about corruption and to talk about other issues within
for the 6 counties.
But before you go to your activity by supervising, what do you do specifically? What are the things that
So I coordinate the activities so that if they report to me directly and when they shall report it to me, I'll go through and have a simple forward to the officer. It means that if they have to have a specific event in the countries, they will have to first inform the open as well as it is so even be conducted. And once they have my approval, they can go ahead and have that event.
Okay, so let's get to what are the things that you are doing in Montserrado County?
Yeah, so in Montserrado, we have had a series of activities for last month. So last month we had activities in Tuli, to be more specific, in Kue and Fanning Towns, and also in Claratown. So in Claratown we were in Petit Town, and we also visited West Point. So during our outreaches, we interacted 135 participants, 85 females, and 15 males. And we were happy to know that the women are now taking ownership of this kind of discussion as centered around corruption. And they are not just taking ownership, they are not just having interest in attending, but are also speaking out their mind as it relates to their own experiences that they have encountered when it comes to corruption. So we have making more strategic when we have realized that for every time we organize these kind of events and men are in a person, it makes it more harder for them to express themselves. So in the hope of being able to express themselves freely, we have strategized in a way that we can sometimes conduct this kind of event for only women in it. And I tell you that if you were to attend any of our outreaches, you'll realize that yes, the women are speaking out their mind, especially when it is a program that is solely conducted for women.
Okay, so okay, let's talk about you talk about the communities you visited. You went to Todi, you went to West Point, you went to maybe
Yeah, West Point,
Claratown,
or
and you spoke with and women are participating. What
yeah.
about the males? Are they also
Yeah, so the males are actively participating also, but I mean, we are trying to now change the narrative and then bring the women to into the picture because our assumption here is that the women are mostly affected when it comes to the issue of corruption. So according to CENTAL's recent or research that is called the State of Corruption Research or the State of Corruption Report, it says that the hospital is most prone to corruption. So real lasting hospital is more prone to corruption, or health facilities are more prone to corruption, or medical services are more prone to corruption. You can safely agree that yes, the women are mostly affected by issue of corruption. Why? Because the women are the one who still take children to hospital. We're not saying this to mean that the men do play any part in that, no, but what we are saying that who are those that are mostly involved with these kind of activities? It's the women. So it makes the women be more vulnerable to the issue of corruption.
so that's the reason why you're trying to place emphasis on their participation and into awareness raising activities regarding the fight against corruption.
Yeah, that is just one of the reasons.
Okay. So what are the things that you have to be doing or you have to do in the course of this week and maybe week we're already in the May week? What are things that you have planned?
Yeah, so again, I'll have to go back on dot my number outreaches. So we have had one planned for today. So to be going Clarata and also engagement with the citizens of Petit to also get a view on how they can contribute in tackling the issue of corruption. And just more than now, basically my colleagues in the country to also read from there how far they have gone with our weekly activity. But bear in mind that for every week they'll have to report. So I'll have to remind them about our weekly activities and see how far they have gone with it, and also get challenges that they are encountering. And we have a series of activities. So one could also be the whole coordination meeting. So coordination meeting is where the country's field officers come together to discuss issues that were experienced for the month, and also challenges that were experienced.
So what are some of the challenges that you experience in terms of your work?
Yeah. So one one was the issue of women participation. So like I earlier stated, when we first initiated this whole idea about the outreach, we had it jointly with women and men, but we realized that for every time the men are present, it makes it hard for the women to express themselves. So we identified that as a challenge, and then we have now worked on it. So I mean, we have decided to have separate outreaches for women and it has enabled them to speak out their mind. So that's been one of our challenges, but we are thankful we are able to 18 years now been conquered, and we are also finding another way we can have the women speaking out more actively.
Okay, so in those discussions, you isolate them from the male so that they can be able to talk freely.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, so do you also go to marketplaces to speak with people in the market? Because mind you, the fight against corruption, like we have said over and over, is not only in the higher ups. We have to engage it from all sectors. So the marketplaces, do you visit them? What do you hear from them?
Yeah, so we have made them to understand that, I mean, the issue of corruption is not only limited to the high ups or to the top notch. No, I mean everyone can be corrupt, and I mean everyone is involved. So we have made it our deal to reach with everyone. Everyone in the land. So the issue of reaching out to market, we have before going to marketplaces, and we'll continue to engage with them. But one of the reasons would be that the market themselves. I'm not saying this to mean that or they want to get an additional profit, but they will backing a lot and they triple it when they say they want to triple the cost to get more profit. So I mean these are all from a course. So we go to the marketplaces and have them educated about this kind of thing. So for every time we speak about corruption, the first thing that comes to mind is the issue of the high ups. But what becomes of the lady that is selling people in the market? What becomes of that old man who is selling real ordinary market and then he is triple the price? Is that not also a corruption? So that is also a corruption. So we visit the marketplaces, educate them about this kind of thing. If you buy your goods at this price, they try to triple the price all because you want to get triple profit. That's also another form of corruption.
So do you go to the people and sugarcoat that if, for instance, you bought rice, you took rice to the market to sell, maybe you have the side the cup is like this, and you have it on top of the rice, and you pour kernel rice in that cup. Do you go to them, tell them that, even though we now do you shortcut these things to the people, or do you tell them bluntly that if you do this, it's an act of corruption and all of this? I mean, it's unfair to people to tell them bluntly that if you do this, it's insincerity. You don't need to do it. Do you engage them directly in this kind of manner? I mean, just bluntly, not to hold them directly one-on-one, but I mean, just put it out to them, throw it out to them. They understand what it means to live, to act and speak or do things with integrity.
So let me first state that we have been very professional in our outreaches, but by being professional doesn't in particular stop us from being very clear, or doesn't stop us from being very blunt to the people to whom we are speaking. So to I mean, we have not had any instance that we have to sugarcoat any situation. So if we come across any act of corruption that is being performed by an individual, I mean, we while it should that we respect you, whether we respect what you bought. Once it has a semblance of corruption, we boldly say, excuse me, ma'am, or excuse me, sir, this attitude of your is look more like a form of corruption, and you have to change this or not. I mean, you can't be assured, cannot be looting from already poor people, for example, higher up. You say you are also involved. So I'm saying this to me, we have no sugarcoated. I'm not even sure we'll be able to sugarcoating anytime soon.
Okay, you are listening to the program Integrity Watch. It's a 1 hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Wednesday on Truth 96.1 FM. And it runs from 11 to 12 noon. And today, like we said, we are putting spotlight on activities of CENTAL's county field officers. So we've been making frantic effort to get in touch, even though they all consented to be here. But then we're making effort now to connect with the guy from not Nimba, but Brand Bassa, but he's not connecting. I don't know what's happening. So we will still try to get in touch, but if not, we will not connect with them today. So are there other things you wanted to talk about so that we can have the public participating?
Yeah, I think it will also be fair enough to inform the public about where we work in the various communities the project is being implemented in.
Yeah. Okay.
So in Bapolu, we work in 4 different communities or Bopolu.
Doctor is now wearing his supervisor. The different communities we're working in the 7 counties. So let's go ahead. So the public can know that. So what is he in Montserrado? You're talking about Bapolu. So you are wearing that jacket now.
Thanks for the the notice. Thank you. Yeah, that was highly important. So I will, like I said, so we work in 4 communities in Bapolu or Totokole, Bopolu, Martina, and Sadia. And while in Bong, we work in 3 communities: Tottenham, Clay, and Ba. So when everyone says you also got to find us in 3 communities, right, or in 3 towns. So you have Patan, Little Liberia, and Roses.
Ancestors.
Yes, Cestus.
Okay.
And if you also went or Bong, you will see us operating. You see our outreach in Swakoko or Swakoko district or Swakoko town. Then you will also want the capital. You will see our in Banga. Then we will also have outreach activities in Banga, and then you also see in Senzu. So for Bassa, you will see in PHU zone, core zone, venture Buchanan. So these are areas that we operate in Buchanan. Then in Nimba County, you will see in Senegal, Neng, down Lopa, and yeah, and down Lopa. So these are communities that we are engaging in. So I know you might want to be or you are wondering why are we operating or why do we restrict our activities to only 2 or 4 communities in these countries. The rationale is that while the sure we want to reach more people or want to reach people who that would want to make impact in our life, it is also possible that we can engage the whole Nimba while we engage the whole Nimba country and reach a lot of people. The question would be, so if they do not left from here and then they went in Nimba country and they asked 1 or 2 persons about CENTAL's engagement there, will those people be able to speak? So we said no. There's a strong reason that we restrict the number of communities to 4. So at least we can be more specific about the number of communities that we're working. So if we left or Nimba County and then we went in Montserrado and asked about specific communities we are working in, we'll be able to speak to these kind of issues, and then we'll be able to tell someone, yes, go in Senegal and ask about engagement. At least 1 or 2 persons will be able to speak to you about that. Go in Bassa, in PHU zone and ask that engagement. Yes, 1 or 2 persons among those that will be asked will be able to speak to you about that.
Okay, so the work of CENTAL, we don't build structure, we don't build physical structure, but what we do, we impact community, we impact the understanding of the people. We go to create awareness and tell people about how we all can get engaged with the fight against corruption. So you will not go in a community, we don't do infrastructural development, but what we do is to create the intellectual reasoning so that people can be able to understand what it means for all of us to join hands and fight corruption, to create awareness amongst the public so that they can have an understanding in order to be impacted. So in order to do that and for MNE purposes, monitoring and evaluation purposes, we have to work in specific communities so that when you go to the communities and have maybe to sample views of the people about issues about corruption, they can specifically talk to you and tell you, say, these are things that we learn about corruption. But if you just open it up and just visit community today and you move from there, you don't go there again for the next 6 or 1 year, you go to the next place and you just do it like that, I mean, you will not have impact on the people, and you will have the needed result that you want. That is the reason why, as Torun said, we are trying to work in specific communities, like he named, in the different counties. So we operate in 7 counties. Tomorrow we are going to be on the radio to talk to the other county officers in Bong, Bapulu, Riverside, and yes, we'll be talking to them tomorrow so that I can talk about their activities in these counties. So if you are listening to us and you want to participate on the program, the numbers to call 077 01 75162, 077 01 75162. That's the orange number to call. If you also listening and you want to participate and you have Lone Star GSM, the number to call 0708886 47 45 63 is 474563. Those are the numbers to call to be live on the program. Integrity Watch is a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is supported and funded by the government and people of Sweden through the Swedish International Development Corporation Agency, or CEDA. So the program is being implemented in 7 counties. So the 7 counties we've been talking to, at least we've spoken with the man from Nimba, and we've been making frantic effort to speak with the guy from Grand Bassa, but apparently he's engaged right now unexpectedly. So we cannot judge why he's not being connected, but we're going to get to him in subsequent broadcast. So in studio today is the county officer for Montserrado County. He is Paul Jensen. He has been talking about activities they've been engaged with in Montserrado. So they've been to Todi and other communities in Montserrado. And he was also highlighting activities in specific communities that CENTAL is operating in the counties. So he named those communities in Nimba, in Bong, in Bapulu, in Riverside, in Grand Bassa, in the 7 counties we are operating. Like we said, if you want to participate in the program, the number to call 077 01 75162, or alternatively, if you want to call on the show also, and you are using Lone Star GSM, you can call 08864745 in the program Integrity Watch. It is a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Wednesday on Truth 96.1 FM. So Tom, let's come back to you. What would be maybe you get, what are some of the things that you hear, the feedback you get from the people when you go to them to create this awareness? Sometimes you get mixed reaction from the people. You go to them to talk to them about corruption. Some people would not want to listen because nothing is in. Like one time at one of our editions, the show, somebody called and was affecting their anger and frustration about what things are not happening, people are not being prosecuted, and all of these things. Do you have these kinds of feedback from people in the communities where they feel dissatisfied about how governance of our country and or fight against corruption generally?
Yeah, I mean, we have had few negative feedback. I mean, so there were times when we went to a specific community to carry out an outreach, and I mean, two of
Okay,
the
so we'll hold you there and take this call. Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Montserrado Junior. I joined from Maggie County, Qatar.
Ben, let's hear you.
Well, I just joined the conversation and I listened to few things. I want to appreciate for us, we as citizens of this country, and our partners, they are all just doing well. But my concern has been due to issues we have to do with extending this initiative to other counties like we in Maggie County. I'm not hearing whether we're part of that because we are not from the world. I think certain issues will be coming to our county in integrity as well. So, and also,
started improving to to issue the information about what they are doing, to be spread throughout the community, because they will not be able to all, or at least one of the community organizations boost the activity. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Ben Robert. Ben is concerned about extension of the program to other counties, and he's also concerned about working with CBOs, so community-based organizations in the counties, whether we are working with them. So he's concerned about, maybe you want to talk about these two concerns.
Yeah, so let me first start with the extension, or the one that has to do with extending the program. So this program goes for 3.5 years, and we are now in the second phase. I mean, it is just a budget, and it has a specific and also has targeted counties. So I mean, I'm sorry about this thing cannot be extended, but I mean, as time goes by, perhaps when they do not impress with the first phase of the program, yeah, they could see reason to also extend it. But however, like he said, we are also not in your country does not mean that you cannot report the issue of corruption. So you can also be indirectly or directly be benefiting from the program. How could that work? So all you have to do if you experience any issue of corruption, you just have to take your phone and call 4432. That is free of charge. While the sugar program not be implemented in your country, but you're making a huge impact to the program. So once you dial 432 and then you put any instance of or any act of corruption, it means that you become a beneficiary of the program. It means that you are helping to curb the issue of corruption. It means that you're helping to tackle corruption. So that is one of the ways in which you can help. Well, it's not in your country, but you can also help to tackle corruption.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so for the issue of CBOs, I mean, we work with CBOs, so being a project reach on that. So if you have interest in working with CBOs, perhaps you could reach our office or give you a call and see how we can work together. To the project, again, to it's not being or implemented in your county, we can find a way around that we could have it included in the list of CBOs that we work with.
Okay, so the numbers to call to be live on the program Interwash, it's the numbers are 07701 751 620886 474563 0886 47 45 3 077 01 75162. Those are the numbers to call to be live on the program. Inside the Wash is a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Wednesday of Truth, 96.1 FM, and it runs from 11 to 12 noon. As Torrin said, the program, the reason why we have this radio program is to create awareness about the fight against corruption, so that you out there can understand what it means to live with integrity and how we all can, to understand what corruption is. So corruption, to know that corruption exists all over, even in our homes, we can be able to fight corruption. So how can you be part of this program? By engaging and doing things with integrity just from your home, by doing things with integrity just from the community that you live in. People can be able to see you as an example and they can follow what you are doing. The way you live in a community can change somebody's life. And the way you live in the community can change somebody from good to bad. So you can be an example in your community. Be an exemplary person that live, that people can speak to and say and speak to positively. Because there are people who they speak to about them, but speak about them in a they are very notorious for all of the different things, or not the good ones. So we will ask that you can be ambassadors. Be ambassador in your community. You are listening to integrity by doing the right thing. When somebody gives you 100, no. Give them their right change. Do not try to took us from asking how much. He said 250. I mean, we had to pay because that's why he said. But from the parking, he told us different price. When we got there, it went up because we asked him. So I mean, you can be another Emmanuel by living with integrity, doing things with integrity. Let's go back to Towan. Let's get your parting comments quickly and in few seconds.
Yeah, so I mean, to my guys in the country, we want to appreciate you. I mean, it's because of you, we have quoting the kind of numbers that we are quoting from the field. And to also our donors, we would like to appreciate our donors for the financial and moral support. Or this will not come anytime better than now, when citizens have have reduced. I mean, have reduced the level of trust in the national government. So we also want to appreciate the media team for affording us the opportunity to speak to the audience as it relates to our working. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The program is called Integrity Watch, the 1 hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is every Wednesday on Truth 96.1 FM. The voice you've been hearing is the voice of Tawon Jensen. He was our guest today in studio and speaking. We spoke with Melvin Swa in Nimba County. My name is Sam Zota. I'm the Media and Communication Officer at the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. My colleagues, Mark Wandao and Geraldine T. Wendy, have been